Now that looks more like a mouflon. We got babies, everybody. Hey guys, well, we do have little ones. Now, we're on the inside today, but that's mainly because on the outside, it looks like this right now. Yeah, after a bunch of warm weather, a nice dry spell, now that we're going to get ready to start lambing, we get a snowstorm. But it's all what you got to do. Well, I'll tell you what, the last few days have been very interesting, entertaining, and I've learned a lot in the last few days. And as I've told you before, you know, I've done a lot with other livestock, whether it's been horses or cattle or this or that, but sheep has been new, lambing out is new, and dealing with sheep that are kind of wild like this has really been new, and that's where I've learned the most. Let's go back a few days ago to the first ones, and first time moms are always fun, and she just didn't quite know what to make of these two. They chased her all over the place. Now I gotta admit, I was in the house, and I've got the Nest camera on the deal, which I can show up here on my TV or on my computer, either one. And I was looking, and I saw 6 sheep, but I was missing one. And I thought I saw movement back in the shed. And about that time, I see this little brown thing come running around the outside of the barn. And I thought, uh-oh, so I went out quick, grabbed that, got it put in there with her. And then they started chasing her around, and she wouldn't hold still for them. So we grabbed them. I got her. Finally, we got a couple of them in. Got her locked back in the catch pen. My daughter came down and helped me. We gave these two each a bottle. So we got those first two a bottle of each, and they're both little ewes. They do look like mouflons. I know she's black belly, but they're looking more like dad than mom, I guess. So anyway, we gave them each a bottle. Put them in there with her, and she was wild and crazy back in there, so we just kind of slipped them in and let them go and let them sit the night. Went the next morning, my daughter stopped before I went to work, was going to give them a bottle. She came down to help me. We grabbed them again and got them out, and they felt like they had a little bit of a belly to them, but I said I was up there early in the morning watching. I never saw them nurse and this and that, but we put them in anyway, let them stay there. That day I checked on them 3 or 4 times. There were times they were laying down, and I'd go up and I'd get them up. And usually when something gets up, it heads right to mom and nurses, and these never did. So all day long, and so when my daughter and her husband got home from work, they came down. So we grabbed her again, we grabbed them. They still had nice bellies, and you could see it was going in one end, it was coming out the other. That's a good sign. So we grabbed a hold of her, checked her bag real quick, and it was real soft. It wasn't tight, so they definitely had been nursing, so we said, all right, we'll leave them. We let them go. Now, during the day when all that was happening, I looked out the window when I was standing in the barn working on something, and I saw the next one going. And this is the spotted ewe. We call her Spot. She's got the spot in the head. She was bred to my son-in-law's painted desert ram. So that's what she's got there, one ewe lamb. That thing is big. I'll tell you, that's a good sized lamb. So, and here's where we started kind of learning a little bit, or I started learning a little bit. When we got down that evening, we decided let's do some sorting. So what I did, the first one that had the lambs, had the twins, she was the very first one I saw bred. And then I saw 2 more ewes bred the next day. So 3 days in a row, 3 different ewes. We took those next 2 ewes, we got a hold of them, we brought them, and there they are. I got to put up a pen inside the barn because we knew the snowstorm was coming. So we set a pen, I put those 2 in there, moved my camera in so I could watch them. We left the ewe with the twins back in the catch pen, way back in there. We then took the ewe that had the single lamb, and I had another ewe out there that's bagging up, looks like she's close. Well, those 2 have always been buddies. So we put them in the alleyway that goes into the catch pen. Put them there with that lamb. They could still get under cover, and I figured that'll have those 2. That left me 2 more out in the main pen, and they shouldn't have been due for 10 or 12 days. So we thought that's the way we're going to leave them. So the next morning, I go out. Now I got to come out the side door of my barn into that long, narrow pen. So I thought I'll ease out there real slow, try to slip back so I can feed the ewe with the twins. I couldn't even get out the door. And those 2, the Spot that had the baby, had the lamb, and the other one, They are just flying end to end. I mean, they've rolled that lamb at least 3 times already, and I ain't even made it out the door yet. So I said, that's enough. I said, you want hands-on, but you could only have hands-on to a point. I closed the door, I walked all the way around the barn, came all the way back around, opened the gate from the long, narrow pen that goes to the main pen, I turned them loose. So now the main pen, which does have the sheep shed, now had those 4 ewes and the lamb. I thought that's the way they got to stay. I then closed the gate, came back, eased open the gate to the catch pen to let that ewe with those twins out so they could get outside. It was a nice day, it was sunny. I let them spend the whole day out there. Then last night, before the weather changed, I went out, they would run back inside. As soon as they did, I closed the gate, I've locked them back under, and they're going to stay there till after the sun comes out and get this snowstorm over, then I'll turn them loose. And then these 2 are inside, they seem to be okay. But I learned my lesson here that as much as you want hands-on, sometimes they're not going to let you. I mean, you can try, but that lamb's going to get rolled over and run over, and they don't care. I mean, the whole herd, I guess they're a flock, right? The whole flock's just going to run that thing over if that's the way it happens. So you're a little limited in what you can do. Now, maybe your sheep won't be as wild as mine. I'm not sure if my son-in-law's Texas Dolls are quite as wild as mine, but that can make a difference. I know guys that spend hours and hours out there with their sheep and get them nice and tame. Maybe they're a little easier to work with. Now that being said, one of those 2 is Daphne. She eats apples right out of my hand. Now go back in the barn when she's in that pen, you wouldn't think so. I brought an apple in there yesterday, she wouldn't come near me. I had to toss them to her. So there's one that immediately will walk right up to me in her normal conditions, take an apple from me. She won't come near me now because I put her in a different set of circumstances. So you can't always get them and work with them as much as you think you want to. At least I'd like to have done more hands-on. And this is going to bring me back to another deal that my son-in-law and I just talked about earlier today, ear tagging. I'm putting them out. I wanted these ear tags. I want to know if I got to calm ewe. I'd like to save the ewe lambs from hers. Maybe they'll be a little calmer and the wild ones. That isn't going to really work. I mean, I'm down here now. There's some out there, especially the mouflons. They're just wild as can be. I may not get a hold of those babies. And if I can't get a hold of those babies on day 1, they're probably not getting an ear tag. I didn't put an ear tag in the ones I got. Those twins, if I went in there now and try to work with them, she's just going to go flying. She's just going to roll them right over too. I've already seen that. So, I don't know, had all the good plans for the ear tags. That may not work. I mean, they can get ear tagged later. At a month or 2 old, I can ear tag them, but I'm probably going to have some circumstances where I got a lot of them look alike. I may not be able to tell them apart. So that's going to be a disadvantage, but you do what you can do, and that's all you can do. So for now, we'll keep an eye. Now the ewe that had the twin lambs, 147 days is normal gestation. She had those at day 152. These guys, as of right now, as I'm doing this, they're working on days 155 and 156. So they're either about 8 or 9 days over, or they didn't get bred the first time, they got bred the second time, which is 17 days later, which means they could be 10 or 11 days off. I don't know which it's going to be. I guess we'll find out, and hopefully we'll have some more information to tell you by the next video. Hey, thanks for sticking with me. Subscribe to my channel if you would. Hope to see you again real soon.